Let's move on to topic number 8, and that's the Wimbledon withdrawals. Wimbledon always has such a historic, tone to it, but with a lot of superstars pulling out of the tournament this year, we're thinking that it's kind of going to hurt revenue of the tournament, first off, and viewership, but will it hurt the name? I guess that is the big thing.
Yeah, it's a good question. We mentioned, or at least you mentioned, that some of the superstars are withdrawn. Naomi Osaka, first and foremost, she's taking time off, mental health stuff going on with her. And I think everybody understands, especially with everything that's gone on in the past year and a half. Everybody's needed a mental health break at some point, and our athletes are no different. They're human beings as well. So that's why she's taking some time off. Rafael Nadal, his knees are starting to bother him again. He wants to prolong his career, obviously. I believe he's 35 years old. So he wants to probably play till he's 40. Actually, watching Tom Brady, he probably played till he's 45. But he wants to preserve his knees, and he thinks that if he stays out of Wimbledon, and I don't think he's going to play in the Olympics either, that's going to help him extend his career. And then Stan Wawrinka, I forget exactly what his injury is, but he's also not going to play in Wimbledon. And it's like with golf, with the 4 majors, there's the 4 Grand Slams. In tennis and Wimbledon, I always kind of equate Wimbledon with the Masters. I don't know why, but it just seems like there's so much tradition, and there's so much, the court is, just seeing that center stage court is like seeing Augusta. It's just very similar.
Yep.
So when the best players aren't there, you wonder if there's going to be less attention towards it this year. So we'll see what happens. Djokovic is still there. Serena Williams on the women's side, I believe, is still playing. If she's not, I might need to be corrected there. But, so we'll see what happens. There's still plenty of players in it, but those are 3 of the top names on the tennis circuit. And if you look at Osaka and Wawrinka, who have won majors in the past, neither of them have won Wimbledon, though. So now there's another year where these 2 tennis players are not going to win Wimbledon. So, does that, stick in the back of their minds? Will I ever win this Grand Slam? Osaka's so young that she'll probably win one at some point. But Wawrinka's never won Wimbledon. Rafa Nadal's won it twice, and then, he's won a million other Grand Slam tournaments. So that's not really an issue for him. But, that's what those type of things start to get in your head later on in your career, where you just haven't won that particular Grand Slam. So we'll see what happens. I think people are still going to tune into Wimbledon for the pageantry, for just being back at Wimbledon with fans back in there. I believe they're going to have fans this year. I could be wrong, but I believe they are going to have fans this year at Wimbledon, which they were certainly missing last year. So that'll be fun to watch. But we'll see. Without these stars, we'll see what the viewership looks like, and we'll see how fun it is to watch without these top players on the tennis circuit.
Yeah, first off, bringing up Rafa Nadal, he's the king of clay, first off, right? He's not the king of grass. So I think it's just really one of those things where he's just like, I'm not that great there anyway, so maybe I should just kind of rest my knees. And then another thing is, on clay, you get to slide, man, and he's the king of doing that. So you don't take so much like pounding into your knees. So I think it makes 100% sense for Rafi to kind of take it off. He's won so many things. And I think when you're that great and that late in your career, you get to have the choice of being able to, I want to play here and there. Kind of like what Tiger Woods was doing. Be like, I'll play in this tournament, I'll play in that tournament. And so when you're that great, that's what you get to do. That's the luxury of being able to do it. But I think, well, like you said, some of the other younger superstars, I think it's kind of more of a message from them saying, I'm going to sit this one out. Obviously, Osaka with the mental health, completely get that. And we 100% support her. And like you said, Azarenka just deciding that she just wants to take a little time off and sit out. And so I think it's big, but I don't think it'll overall hurt the tournament. I think Wimbledon carries so much history, like we were saying. And I think your comparison to Augusta, I think, is right on point. I think that's 100% correct. It just carries so much history that I do think, viewership will be down this year with missing some of these superstars. But I think next year it'll bounce right back and maybe even go higher when some of these superstars do decide they want to come back to Wimbledon. And they will come back because it carries so much history and it's so much, like you said, pageantry there that I think everybody's looking forward to it. It's really one of those majors, like you said, one of those Grand Slam majors in tennis that I think is going nowhere. So, yeah, look forward to bounce back next year. But I do think it will take a slight hit this year.
Right. Yeah. I think that, you know, I think it'll be tough, you know, this year maybe a little bit. But the one thing that you could even look at too is that, you know, with older players like Nadal and Wawrinka not being there, you know, maybe a younger male tennis player will emerge in this year's Wimbledon. We've sort of had the same guys over the past 10 to 15 years with Djokovic, Nadal, and Roger Federer, who seems like he's ageless. You know, he never gets too old. He's been around for so long. So maybe a younger male tennis player will emerge. There's a lot of good young female tennis players coming up through the ranks right now. On the male side, there's got to be another star that needs to emerge. And you know, here in the United States, we're hoping it's a male tennis player from America. You know, because we haven't seen one in a while that's really been that competitive in a lot of these Grand Slam events. So we'll see if that happens. So that might be something interesting to watch. But I think you're right. I think the ratings will be down a little bit, but we'll see what happens. It's still Wimbledon, still a lot of fun to watch as always. Breakfast at Wimbledon that weekend is always a good time.